Welcome guys to a new video. Today we're pretty much going to be going over the entirety of rushing in Trenches Alpha, because I've seen like a million comments of people asking me how the heck pillboxes work, which is actually defense, but you know what? Today I'm going over offense. A good coach will always tell you that a key to a good defense is a great offense, so we're going to be going offensive just like Twitter. We're going to be going over pretty much how to rush another trench, how that normally works, and of course what the kits entail, and most of the factions in the game, of course, and how that would exactly work out for you. Meaning, of course, map structure, rushing, of course, over pontoons, as well as, of course, using infantry versus tanks and other structures in the game for rushing an enemy trench, and, of course, how that would work out to the best of my ability to explain to you guys. So I've already entailed in some of my other videos some of the best kits to use, such as Engineer, using Grenadier, possibly even using an LMG kit, sometimes using an ATG or other things to obviously blow up other enemy pillboxes or defenses is a very useful thing to do. But I don't have time to cover that in this video, so what I'll be covering primarily in this video is obviously how the heck to rush an enemy trench. Now, based on normal analytics of obviously multiple games that I've played in the game, normally you will see roughly almost 90% of pushes at least have some involvement of either mass artillery and tanks, or just specifically tanks rather than the infantry. Infantry alone make up about 10% of those pushes to actually work. Normally, there has to be at least one tank on the front line or a massive amount of artillery being built for them to actually be able to succeed in that type of offense normally, especially if the game has gone on multiple days. Now, I attest that in a different video, of course, that I made, the first video that I ever made on Trenches Alpha, which by the way is over 35,000 views now, thank you guys for that, originally put towards the community having a game that would normally be roughly 1,000 to 2,000 deaths at most. Now, in more recent games, I've been able to see much higher death counts in games, mostly because the game doesn't average 100 people anymore. But some of these games go into tens of thousands of deaths, and the days go up to literal months. So now recommending, obviously, that you put more tanks in because the game has gotten a little bit more standard, and the players have gotten a little better at understanding the game, and of course the structure of the game and the maps. So from there, that's pretty important. Generally, understanding pillboxes, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, quite literally as a good defense works better as an offense. Meaning that you can actually dig, as an engineer, an undercut under an area on the map and build above you a pillbox so that you can actually have that pillbox firing on the enemy and continue to build it while being in safe cover. This can be done anywhere on the map, though it is recommended doing it as close as possible to the front lines, so that of course as an engineer you can benefit your team to an extreme by essentially creating a massive amount of bullets just aimed directly, auto-aimed or aimbotted at the enemy already. So you're able to do that by just creating a pillbox as an engineer, putting an undercut somewhere, and then just building it above yourself, which as soon as it turns daytime in the game will work incredibly well. So I would highly recommend doing something like that, and that is a great strategy to rushing if you are going to do it through the infantry style. Now, speaking through the tank style of rushing in general, mostly comes with the basic, of course, land cruisers. Now, land cruisers a lot of the times are a little bit more protected than what you're going to have for obviously a gun carrier, which is going to be a little bit later, I would say, in obviously protecting yourself and making sure that you will be able to live for a good period of time. Now, these don't unlock immediately in the game. They do take a couple days to unlock, so you're going to have to start with the infantry strats, which sometimes can win you the game dependent upon how good the other team actually is. But using, of course, normal tanks will probably give you the best opportunity to rush the enemy team, especially if you do not have multiple engineers, as I mentioned before, making those pillbox undercuts, or you are not actually rushing the enemy trench so consistently that they cannot actually keep up with that pace, as well as artillery just raining hell on them the entire time. So using tanks such as, of course, these land cruisers and possibly behemoths, as I didn't mention already, you should probably consider using those to rush through an enemy line and or trench, which of course sometimes defenses can't actually slow you down. And some of these do technically have aimbot on them, to where they will just auto-target an enemy and start firing bullets at them. So oftentimes you'll get upwards of 50 kills every time you spawn in a tank, and even if ATGs aren't in the game, it will provide you to a better opportunity to be able to run you to the enemy trench and to get your entire team to push up way faster. So sometimes saving credits for these is very good because it does take a few days to get the credits up to be able to buy these in the game for even just one spawn of them. so you better hope you don't crash. Artillery, which is oftentimes seen as an actual defensive style of making sure that your trench is obviously not rushed by the enemy, is also a great way to prepare a defense in the game. When you prepare a defense essentially with artillery, you are preventing the enemy from coming over your line and making sure that they cannot directly attack you, and oftentimes blowing up any of their defenses that may be close enough to actually hit with the artillery, and or pillboxes that can immediately be ranged with an ATG because it's more risky, and or your members are going to get killed by trying to aim at, of course, that pillbox because it is too close or too dangerous to actually go fight for. So you will lose too many people, therefore it's better to use artillery to wipe that out. Oftentimes artillery can actually be provided without you having to die in the process of making it, or rushing up, of course, to go make an undercut in a pillbox, which gives you like a 50% chance of just straight up dying from gunfire immediately, not including any other things. Rushing up with a pillbox can be very difficult as an engineer, so possibly as an engineer, just going out there to go make this could be your greatest benefit overall. So sometimes it's making artillery, holding a line, and essentially helping your team push over a period of time is a great idea in the game. I've had a couple questions actually surrounding if factions in the game, meaning when the game switches off a round, meaning one side has actually won the round, if they actually impact the game from there. No, they do not. They're obviously more so cosmetic, and sometimes it does lightly affect the maps that they will be placed on, but for the most part, what it normally just overall gives for you to go into the game with is just a better decal for what your avatar is going to look like, and of course switches up the sides a bit to be either historical, catgirl meme, or just anything else overall. So there really is no major impact to factions. It just makes the game look a lot cooler, which generally, and of course, adds more race factor to it, which is something I see not very often on Roblox. Now, and finally, credit saving, which I have mentioned in some of my previous videos, is a great way to save up for rushing, preparing some time, of course, on defense, making sure that your pillboxes are going to be holding the line. Artillery will, of course, as well be holding the line, and that you will be preparing to rush up yourself, saving some credits, dying on the front line, and then respawning with a tank sometimes is a great idea. Once you know that you have enough credits, sometimes keeping track in chat just from the time that you've been playing for the amount of credits that you will have going forwards to go get a tank, get to the front lines with that tank, and then just rush through the enemy lines. As I mentioned, sometimes these tanks can get 40 to 50 kills if ATGs are not already unlocked in the game by a certain amount of days, which normally they are when tanks are unlocked, but sometimes it can take one extra day, I've noticed that. So from those overall statistics, you can rush up once at least with the tank early game, might give you a better opportunity to give your team an advantage early game over the enemy team, and if you do get this advantage, you will have a pretty good shot at winning the game. So make sure if you have any opportunities to get a tank earlier than ATGs are unlocked in the game, or at least the RNG map, your chances are going to be significantly higher, so make sure that you actually do take that opportunity. Have you the credits. I wanted to thank you all at the moment. We're just over 1,600 subscribers when this video comes out, so I very much appreciate you guys, of course, watching the channel. I do want to upload much more actively and possibly daily in the future, more looking like semi-daily at the moment, but thank you guys once again very, very much for watching. Feel free to subscribe. I do live stream just about every day over on Twitch. I actually live stream there, so feel free to go follow twitchtv.yakare. And of course, if you guys would like to come over to the Twitter, I do have a Twitter account as well, which I do post a couple memes on time to time. Thank you guys once again. Feel free to subscribe and leave a like on the video. It would mean the world to me. So I hope to see you guys next time.